It's a good thing I'm not the president. I'm an independent, because I would prosecute the people who did it, I would prosecute the people who ordered it, and they would all go to jail.
Uh-oh. The governor, Jesse Ventura, isn't known for holding back in his latest book, Don't Start the Revolution Without Me, out in paperback now. And Brian, I don't know, do you even want to go face-to-face with the governor again today?
Well, no, I'm just
face off.
No, I watched the governor. I watched you on Hannity last night a few hours ago. You just finished up. You are so down on what the administration did between 2001 and 2007.
That's right.
Why?
Why? Because we now torture and waterboarding. I've been waterboarded. It is torture. I can speak from experience. It was part of SEER training that I went through as a Navy SEAL.
And are you okay now?
I'm fine.
So is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. He's about 60 pounds overweight, having a great time.
It doesn't matter. If it was okay, then why don't we do it to criminals? When, if we've got gang members in L.A., okay, we know that their gangs are going to do bad things. When we arrest them, why don't we waterboard them so we can get information out of them?
Do you want to stop
because it's against the law. Don't come after me with that nonsense.
What's nonsense?
Waterboarding, because number one, if you torture someone, what you get is baloney.
Well, it turns out they feel differently. The CIA feels differently than you do. If you read the 175 pages, they talk about, we got this guy, we get Hambali, we get his brother, and it happened by corroborating all this different evidence from the material they got. And they only waterboarded 3 guys. And on top of that, I want to know how you feel about the light deprivation, when you talk about not sleep deprivation, when you talk about hot cold, when you talk about bugs. Does that all bother you?
Yeah. Why don't we do that with our people in prison and jail?
Ticking time bomb.
So how else should we find out information from these terrorists?
Well, you find out information like these guys. They got more information from them. It's documented before they ever waterboarded them. I find it okay. Why didn't we water?
The FBI says that the CIA doesn't.
Wait. Why didn't we waterboard McVeigh and Nichols then? There were more people. There were more people that they thought involved in Oklahoma City. Why weren't they waterboarded to get information? Because it's against the law. And if we're not going to be a country, if we're not going to be a country that goes by the rule of law when it's convenient or inconvenient, then what do we stand for?
What country do we have if we're all on fire, if buildings are blowing up, if people are jumping out of skyscrapers? Do you want to live in that country? That you live in, if you worked in the CIA, you wouldn't do everything you can to keep those people safe?
I wouldn't torture.
But what about the difference between, you bring up Timothy McVeigh and gang members, and maybe those threats weren't as imminent as the threats?
I don't think these threats are imminent.
You didn't think after 9/11 that America felt that the threats were imminent, that more could be coming?
Maybe, but I think our behavior has caused us to be in more trouble. Now, they won't release these photos. Why? Because they know the Muslim world will go irate. They're all after Nancy Pelosi. When did she know? When da-da-da? Well, if we hadn't tortured, it'd be a dead issue, wouldn't it? Let's go to the real issue. It's called
it's enhanced interrogation.
Because Dick Cheney makes up a new word?
No, but the CIA told him that word.
That's
say, we need to get
enhanced interrogation. It's torture, my friend. And I've had it done. Have you been waterboarded?
What? Do you want me to?
Have you been waterboarded? Get waterboarded, and then we'll ask you. Let me waterboard you.
I'm not blowing up America. I'm not trying to destroy this country. I'm not trying to fight against democracy everywhere we go. These people.
Neither are they.
These are the people that cut off Danny Pearl's head, and you're worried about their welfare.
No, I'm not worried about their welfare. I'm worried about what our country stands for.
Are you afraid of getting them radical?
I'm worried about what this our country. Well, where's it going to end?
We have to end
when
they're dead.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how
when
come
Al-Qaeda loses, when they decided their philosophy.
Have you enlisted, or are you just talking?
No, am I just talking? You want me to enlist?
Yeah.
You don't like our armed forces?
Go walk the walk. Don't talk the talk.
So wait a second. So if I'm not in the military, I can't pull for America?
Sure you can.
Yeah, and I can't fight for America?
But you ain't fighting for us.
Yeah. While they continue to battle it out,
if you're not in the military.
Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Just a review on the regular show. Here's the question we had at the end. To be totally just, you believe that Dick Cheney, George Bush, and the whole administration should be prosecuted for their acts?
Governor Jesse Ventura
is with us.
But if that is the case, then we should prosecute. We should have prosecuted Harry Truman. Should have prosecuted Abraham Lincoln. Should have prosecuted Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Are you for that?
They're dead.
But if you talk about justice.
They're dead.
So if they weren't, would you prosecute
reality.
them?
You're giving me a hypothetical that's bullshit.
I'm giving you a hypothetical because you're making up. Rosie O'Donnell like scandals. that says that 9/11 was an inside job.
Well, why are you not allowed to ask anything about it?
No,
why, when
concluding.
you approach the government, I approach the government.
I read everything possible. I watched all the hearings. You're right. I haven't read. You looked at my reading list. Have you read the 9/11 report, and you think it's a piece of fiction?
No, I believe everything in it. I believe my government's never lied to me, have they? Let's see. Where should we start? The Gulf of Tonkin incident? Now, that took us into war in Vietnam. They've now admitted it was a lie. So 58,000 of my generation were killed based upon a lie. But that doesn't count, does it?
What does that have to do with 9/11?
That shows that we will lie to go to war. We've been doing it for years. We will continue to do it. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, did you believe that? Well, you probably weren't alive then.
I apologize for not being alive then.
Well,
it won't happen again.
Well, I was alive.
Okay.
But and I remember our president sitting on TV telling us our boys are floating in the water.
And because of that, you'll never believe anything. And because of that, you'll never believe anything.
But they lie all the time. Have you been in government? No, I have.
All right, so that's for. So I've never been in the NFL, but I could watch a football game and judge what's going on.
Why do we have the CIA embedded in all state government when their mission statement says that they're not?
The question. If you just say one thing, you don't think the CIA has our best interest in mind. You don't think our intelligence branch.
I never said any of that.
But your questions and conclusions only lead to that one statement. That you think everyone's against America, the government's against America.
True. Always remember, dissension's the greatest form of patriotism. Tom Jefferson said that.
Tom, you were alive then?
No. You're going to insult me.
I got to go to radio. Yeah. All right, Jesse. Take care.
He's leaving.
Jesse, I do have to say that I think Brian probably has read every word from the whole 9/11 situation. He's passionate about it, as you can see.
Well, I am too.
But and I agree with you that there's been covert activity over time, no doubt, where the government has not told its people every single thing that's gone on. I don't think
they rarely do.
But when it comes to 9/11, are you so sure?
No.
Okay.
No, but I ask questions, and what perturbs me is that you don't get answers. Nobody wants to talk about it. This event that changed our entire history of our country, why aren't we allowed to discuss it? Why aren't we allowed to ask questions? The moment you do, you get a reaction like he gave me. How dare you? How dare you question your government?
So what are your questions?
My questions are simple. I worked in demolition. I'm a former frogman, underwater demolition team. I know how to blow things up. How could the buildings fall at the rate of gravity? Basic physics tells you that can't happen.
Yeah.
And how did the cement get so pulverized? Just simply from falling, it was blown into dust. What energy was required to pulverize all that cement
so
into
what
dust?
Conclusion do you draw?
I don't know. But I certainly question, and yet I'm attacked when I question. You notice how if you bring up 9/11 and they have any questions about it, immediately everyone attacks you over it, tells you you're crazy, calls you Rosie O'Donnell, insult you. Why? Because I ask questions?
I think a lot of people, Jesse, figure, well, you know, that 9/11 report came out, it said it was those guys over there, it was those Al-Qaeda guys. So people just go, okay. They've formulated an opinion in reasoned manner, and that's what happened. Now, they can't know for sure that all of that happened per se, but, you know, you do ask a lot of questions, and that's what your book
is about.
Don't Start the Revolution Without Me is about. It's about asking questions.
And I thought in our country that was good. In this country, I thought before 9/11 it was good to ask questions. It was
challenge authority.
Challenge authority. But now apparently we've changed to where you're not allowed to challenge authority. You have to accept what the government tells you, keep your mouth shut, and stay in line. Well, that's not the America that I served as the military. I served because, to me, defense of free speech, popular speech, the First Amendment doesn't need to be defended. It's unpopular speech is why we have that amendment. You question 9/11, you're asking unpopular speech today.
So you would also like to question the Obama administration. It wouldn't just be the former Bush administration. Oh,
I'd like to question everybody on it, because to me it doesn't, what happened that day, there are so many unanswered questions, and even the relatives, you saw the protests at the 9/11, and since when do you bring in witnesses that don't have to testify in open, where they're brought into closed door rooms and allowed to testify together?
Let me get